Hey, welcome to Let's Keep It Real. I'm Allie,
And I'm Talie. I'm
and
excited today, Allie.
yeah, we're trying something new today. We're doing this virtual, time constraints and other things keeping us virtual today. But we are hoping that this turns out good because we're recording the video too. So we're just hanging out in our homes today. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. And what a great time. It's a July is moving quickly. A lot's happened in just the past few months, and
Hmm.
I actually look forward to kind of just walking through a couple of fun things that we've done this season
Yeah.
and talking a little bit more about our topic we have. I hope everybody enjoys it today.
Yeah, I hope so too. It has been a quick year, I feel like. I mean, we're more than halfway through the year already. We've had a lot of really great episodes so far this year. We've got some really good things coming down for the last half of the year as well. And, we've done a couple of camping trips and we've got I know I've got a good story from our last camping trip. But let's talk about that first one. That first one was a lot of fun. We did our campfire stories.
Yes,
That
and
was a blast.
there were over 100 women at that camping trip. In the
Yeah, it was a
network.
big group.
Yeah, so it was easy to find some great campfire stories from some volunteers that felt confident enough to share just a little bit about themselves, and I think they had fun too.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that so many people were so nervous about, just doing a campfire story. We were just asking, very simple questions,
Yeah.
just to get, little sound bites from a few people. And I was surprised to see everybody was kind of, oh, I don't really want to do that. And what do I say? And we had a couple of fun outtakes. So that was really entertaining for me. So
Yeah.
they're always
Yes,
your outtakes.
I was gonna say, yeah, just call it for what it is, and I to the point that people get nervous. I get nervous, I get nervous because I never know what silly thing I'm gonna say, because
Yeah.
we're just having a good time, just chilling out, and enjoying our time with our guests. So it's great.
Yeah, that camping trip was fun, and I remember it being very cold that night, and I was sleeping in the back of my Jeep, and I was freezing my ass off, and I just remember like, oh my God, I just was waiting for the sun to come up so I could just pack up my stuff and go.
Oh yeah, I don't know how you wintered the storm. I mean, it was what was it, March about that time?
Yeah, it was like mid-March, and it was really, it was really great during the day, but it's like once the sun went down, like here's the thing, I slept really comfortable because I like sleeping in the cold, but I should have definitely taken another blanket. Like, I did not prepare myself very well for that. And I slept like in my jeans and my sweat. I had a sweater on, I had a jacket on.
Yeah.
It was a good time though. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to, me and my college friend took in another friend because they were already freezing before it even got too late in the night. And,
Yeah.
so a lot of people, it was their first time at Rainbow Ranch in the first place.
Yeah.
A lot of folks. And I think it was yours too. Is that?
It was my first time back in about 12 years.
Oh,
Yeah, I went about trying to gauge how old I was. It was about 12 or 13 years ago the
okay.
first time I went, and I went in October
Okay.
and actually slept in a tent on the ground that time. Couldn't do
Okay.
that today. Um, but yeah, like that campground has changed so much. Like they didn't have the pool at that point. They didn't have they had the like covered area where like the DJ sits now, but it wasn't as nice as it is today. Like they've made some really great improvements to that place. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm still what I consider to be a newbie, alley, because I haven't even gone 5 times yet in my life. I finally
Yeah.
always heard about it, and it
Hmm.
sounded like too much for me. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
It's a lot,
it's a lot.
especially when you go on like one of their event weekends. Because the first time I went, it was an event weekend, and it was Halloween. So they
Oh,
were having like a big Halloween party, and everybody was in costumes and just completely hammered. And yeah, it was a good time, but it was
yeah,
a lot. So there was a lot of people there.
yeah. Well, I can't say it enough. Every time I've gone, and you and I even got a chance to go again recently.
Yeah, just last weekend.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. And you
It was a
got
little more calm this time. There was less people, smaller group. It was a little calmer. Um, but yeah, it was still a good time.
yeah, whenever it's dark and you hear people scream, there's always got to be a good story behind the scream, especially when it's like just like the
Yeah.
ahs going on.
Yeah.
So, would you have any stories behind the
I hate you right now. I hate you so much. So, yeah, I have a good story. My girlfriend and I were the ones that were screaming at 3 o'clock in the morning, the first night we stayed there. I had this really great idea. I was going to buy a tent that connects to the back of my Jeep, and we were going to sleep in the back of my Jeep. And we get to the campgrounds. Long story short, it's windy. It's a horrible time to set up a tent. So we wait a while. We finally set it up, and the day goes on and everything's fine, and we go to bed, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up because I hear something in the tent area, where we're sleeping, and I'm like, what is going on? And like you're like in that mid, like kind of asleep, kind of awake mindset, and you're like, I know I hear some, there's definitely something in that tent. And so I start sliding down to the edge of the cargo area in the Jeep, and my girlfriend is like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, do not come down here. Don't come down here. She's like, what is it? What is it? And about that time, I see like this little shadow of a animal like running towards the back of the Jeep where I am. So I freak out. I'm like, oh my God. And then my girlfriend screams, and I think we woke up the whole campsite, honestly. That little bandit, freaking raccoon, was found a hole in the tent that was connected to the Jeep and had climbed in, broke in, opened the box. It had stuff on top of it, ate half of our bread, and I was like, "Oh my god!" By the time it was all over, we ended up disconnecting the tent from the Jeep and closing the Jeep up and sleeping
Oh,
without the tent part. It was quite an adventure. Yeah,
oh my gosh. And
yeah,
from what I heard in the pool later that day, that y'all weren't the only one that had the visitor. It looks like
yeah.
little bandit was going around to
Yeah, he was making his rounds for sure. He like tried to get into one of our friends' tents that was two sites down from us, like trying to unzip her zipper on her tent,
yeah,
and I guess gave up and came over to ours and found a good way in. And
that's
man,
crazy. I
it
love
was crazy. But here's the really fucked up thing. Everybody heard us scream. Not a one person got out to make sure like nobody was being murdered or anything. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate the concern.
yeah, hey, well, in all fairness to me, I didn't hear a thing, so
Yeah,
I
well, you were like locked up in your camper and you can't
yeah,
hear shit in there.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
hear shit. I couldn't help you, Allie. So,
yeah. It was
sorry.
fine. We got back in the Jeep and we laughed probably for a good hour. And then finally fell back asleep. But yeah, it was an adventurous time. It was the first time my girlfriend and I had been camping together.
Yeah.
So it was already an adventure, but that definitely made it more so. So yeah, it was a good
So,
time.
that's a great story, and I think that kind of segues into the topic we want to talk about of being off the market. I think
Yeah.
last time we really had a just one on one with you and I. We were both talking about us being single
Yeah,
and
at the beginning of the year.
yeah, at the beginning of the year, and here Allie is off. you know
Yes.
there's a lot that comes with that, Allie. There's a lot of changes for you, and what's interesting is while you were off the market, because you were dating somebody, I intentionally was off the market and not dating anybody.
Yeah.
So it just became an interesting topic for us to talk about, from two different perspectives.
hmm Well, and I
And
think everybody has a different, everybody's relationship is different. We'll start there. And some people, they're off the market, but they're not off the market. Um, I am off the market, 100%, like off the market.
yeah,
Um, because I have a girlfriend. You're off the market because you are choosing to not
yep,
date anybody.
yep,
So there's a big two very stark differences there.
Yep.
Um, and I think you have your reasons for being off the market like that.
Yep. Yep. And
You want to share that with us?
yeah, what's been interesting, I think I've talked about, alluded to it in season two as well. There's some things I just needed to work on for myself.
Hmm.
I was in a very, very, very long relationship for 12 years, and there were some things I, unfortunately hadn't healed from, and I just
Hmm.
kind of learned that, over the past year and a half afterwards, and recognizing I wasn't at my healthiest to be dating,
Yeah.
mentally, emotionally, things of that sort, and just really took the time and took the distract. I call them distractions. Women distract me. They distract me from being able to put everything I need to focus on me. And um, I don't see it as a selfish task. I see it as a needed task in my life to find something better, and not re I guess recreate the same cycles I have in the past.
Yeah.
So I started off with just Lent, Allie. I went through.
I remember that. I was giving you so much shit during
I
Lent.
know, and people like you laughed at me, and it's like you got to start somewhere. There's things. Lent really means something,
Yeah.
and you kind of find ways to heal yourself, to do good things. And all I could think of was, I needed to not date, and any of the things that were activities that included that too needed to be kind of put aside for 40 days and 40 nights, while I just really, and it wasn't, so to speak, a sacrifice, but it was a whole lot harder than what I anticipated, because
Well, you had been dating somebody right before that, and that ended. And I
yeah.
think that's kind of what launched you into this. I'm just gonna take these 40 days for myself, and and
Sure.
that's what it was. You did it for yourself. And I
I
think
did.
I think it's good. I think a lot of people don't really they don't do that. Some people just go from one relation to the next, and they don't actually process, anything that happened in that relationship that made it end or anything like that. And um we always talk about how different you and I are in our dating lives.
Mm.
um I'm going to date one person. If it doesn't work out, fine, I'm going to date the next person. You tend to kind of date multiple. When you are dating, you date a couple people at a time, and I can't do that. Like, that's like, I'm ADD, but I'm not, like, I can't. That's too much. That's too many women. Like,
Well,
it's too
so I
much.
mean, so like I said, the way I did things in the past probably weren't the best way.
But a
For
lot of people date more than one person at a time. I'm not like singling you out. Like,
yeah.
a lot of people do that, and I have never been able to do that. Like,
Well,
even getting on the dating apps and, like, texting, multiple girls. I'm like, oh my god, this is too much. Like, I cannot do it. Like, I can't do it.
yeah,
So I have to,
yeah,
like, weed them out, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna talk to this one anymore, and I'm gonna talk to this one.
yeah, yeah. I guess the process itself just allows me to recognize where I want to spend more time with, when I was dating
Yeah,
multiple people at the same time. But I was only dating one person before I decided to do all this, and
yeah,
I can't tell you enough. When we went camping in March, and I shared this with women out there, it's like their claws started wanting to latch on to me more. Like, like, oh,
yeah. And we need to talk about this because I have issues with this,
what do
and
you
it's
mean?
like, not no, because people say, like, no, I'm not dating right now. That doesn't make it a challenge. Like, don't,
Oh, yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not me saying, ooh, here's a challenge
Yeah.
for you. Like, try to date. Like, that's not what it is.
Well, some women looked at it as a challenge, and just some women were just intrigued by the fact that I could do this, and all of a sudden I had more women looking at me, and I was like, no, don't do it. You like, I'm over
Yeah.
here trying to stay strong. I'm over here trying not to connect too much, but I was honestly just talking so much more to women. And that I can't always say I handle things the best, and I don't know that anybody can, but I
No.
have really gained so much more respect for people, for women that I've been interacting with, hanging out with, even more than before. And I'm typically a person that has a lot of respect, but I've gained so much more respect.
Hmm.
And I'm honestly a little nervous about dating again, and I anticipate I'll probably be doing it and really really soon again, because I feel like I've accomplished so much
Hmm.
because I really just took a lot out, and I continue, I continue to work on my mental state, my emotional state, my financial state, like anything that needs some refining, a little bit of a little bit of improvement. I'm always going to be a work in process, and
Yeah.
I'm not here to be single forever, but I really needed to shut things down and create boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm typically not very good at creating boundaries, but I have been told that I'm really good about creating boundaries now, and it
Yeah.
and it makes me feel good when people say that to me, because I do it for my own self love, for my own self respect, and because I'm focused on this, Allie, it just shows how important it is to me, even though, it might attract people more. I
Yeah.
I get more attracted to somebody that respects what I'm doing, and not
Right.
tries to see me as a challenge right now, but really just see what I'm trying to accomplish. And it's funny because we had an episode, just I didn't want to be called a serial dater, and
Yeah.
that term was out there, and I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
Um, and I giggle too about like your process, my process when it comes to dating, or the first time you cross to the next base and things like that. Our
Yeah.
styles are very different, respectfully, and you know, we're
Well,
very,
and there's no wrong way. Like
yeah.
like we have different styles, but my way's not wrong. Your way's not wrong. It's not like that at all. It's just I mean, we're two totally different people when it comes to that aspect of our life, and we're just different.
Yeah. Well, just when I think about even yourself, you know, you being off the market, Allie, I miss you. You, I don't get to hang out with you as much, and damn it, y'all people who hook up and just go bye bye for a while, like that's
Here's
not
the thing
fair.
though. Here's the thing though. I was always an introvert. Okay, that me
I
getting a relationship has not changed that. I am still
I know.
an introvert, and I don't like, you are very social. You like to go out. Like when the pandemic hit, you were dying.
Uh,
You could not stand to be at home, and I was sitting at home. I was reading a bunch of books, like just being by myself and
you're
loving life.
living your best life.
Yeah, seriously, living my best life in the middle of a pandemic. Totally fine with it. And not much has changed just because I am now off the market. Um, it's just enjoy being at home. Not Neither one of us enjoy going out and, going to bars, and like we're not about that. And that doesn't change just because, I mean, if I was single, I'd still be the same. I'd still be at home.
That's probably a fair statement to make, because I was actually excited, because you chose to go to the camping trip.
Yeah.
And I know when you first signed up to go, you were single at the time, and
Yeah.
you didn't know where you would be or who would be by your side or anything like that. And
Yeah.
we all still had a great time. There was about 20ish
Yeah, it was a
people.
much smaller group. It was a good time though.
Yeah, it was a very good time hanging out in the pool, enjoying the cool weather. The wind made it a lot easier, even though it wasn't ideal for the people in tents and so forth.
Yeah.
But just in general, sometimes people. You made an interesting comment. Like, you can be off the market, but not really off the market.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you just broke up and you're trying to still go out. Um,
Hmm.
you're off the market, but you're not 100% ready. You'll eventually be ready. And,
Yeah.
you're just trying to get yourself out so you just don't go crazy with your thoughts and your feelings and things of that sort.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody processes things differently, right? So some people that are going through a breakup, they, tend to go out a lot, because that's their way of healing, and they want to, be with their friends and, still want to get drunk and party and do all those things. And other people, just kind of go into their cave, and they, just want to be by themselves or with just a couple of people, at home. Everybody is so different. It's so interesting to see people, in different, especially on a camping trip, because if something happens on a camping trip and you're in the middle of nowhere, there is nowhere for you to go. Like, you are stuck at that campsite. And unless you just get in your car, pack up your shit and leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we had an instance where somebody had come with somebody, and I don't think they left with that same person at the end of the camp. We were only there for 3 days, people. 3 days.
You threw that out there.
I don't know who we're talking about. It's fine. Um, but it's just so funny to see how differently people are in those types of situations. I love to people watch, and I think I sat at the pool all day on Saturday and just watched people. I don't remember saying more than 20 words to anybody, even my girlfriend, and we just sat there and people watched the whole time
Yeah,
because it's so entertaining.
there was a lot of entertainment going on
Yes.
in the pool area in general. But
Yep.
I have to say that weekend, just this past weekend, was a turning point for me, which is why I feel like I'm really starting to open up a little bit more. When you talk about being an introvert, I do have some introvert tendencies, Allie.
Sure.
And that's why I have to get away sometime and just go camping by myself or do something by
Yep.
myself, because I just need to recharge, or I just need to keep it really really small, just so I can become social again and enjoy people the way that I do.
Yep.
But this weekend, towards the end of our trip, we had this big storm come through. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You saw
Super
the story.
fun.
You saw the story.
I
Um,
did. Yeah.
yeah, and you were definitely there dealing with the storm, like several of us were doing. You just got out faster than most of us.
I literally, like, I rolled up my tent so fast. Like, I brought like half of that rainwater back with me.
Yeah,
And I was like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I just threw everything in the back of the Jeep and we left.
yeah,
Like, it was bad. It was really bad, and it came really fast. And I know you had a lot more issues than I
yeah.
did getting out of there.
I did, and that weekend, and I bring this up, just me being off the market. I don't necessarily go with a partner by my side, somebody
Right.
to help me do all my camping stuff and everything. And I've got people who want to camp with me, and normally when I go out there, my college buddy from Houston comes to visit me, and we just have a good time. I love her to death. I've known her for over 30 years, and I'm just very fortunate to have her in my life. But because I'm the one who knows the process, so to speak, when those situations come and I've got the airstream to pack up and everything, it's a lot for one person,
Yeah.
especially to expedite it so quickly. And then after everything gets done and I deal with my little dog that I try to take on my camping trips and get her more acclimated to camping, she's kind enough to lock my doors and keep me locked out of my own vehicle so I can leave right behind you as well too. So
Yeah.
that whole ordeal really made me recognize that, even though I'm off the market, I've really been taking my life to a point where I continue to bring really good people into my circle.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like with my own personality type, I'm the people who are closest to me continue to have just such big hearts,
Hmm.
and it. it can be lonely being off the market. I guess
Yeah.
that's what I'm also trying to say. It can be lonely. um, I constantly surround myself by beautiful people, just family, friends, things of that sort. I do my best to just ensure that, I also take care of myself during the process too. But when my dog locked me out and my keys, my wallet, and my freaking phone and everything except for the wet clothes I was wearing in that storm were on
Yeah.
me, and like you said, we're out in the middle of nowhere. That's
Yeah.
all you have, and you're so limited. And it's a Sunday morning. When you're in the middle of nowhere, typically a locksmith isn't going to come to you
Yeah.
anywhere in the near future. The resources you have are just so limited. But
Hmm.
yet, I just that whole feeling of recognizing that as I'm going through my journey right now of being off the market, as I continue to recognize that I'm getting stronger and stronger every day, or feeling more confident about what I have to offer the next person, it was just nice knowing that I didn't feel alone, Allie.
Yeah.
I felt like, and I know we don't talk about anything spiritual here, but I did feel like God gave me everything that I needed that day to
Yeah.
recover from the day. And luckily we eventually figured out, my vehicle connection to get it remotely opened.
Hmm.
It took a long time to get it out. My
Yeah.
dog my dog survived and has no clue what really happened, but
Yeah.
it was a turning point for me. It was a turning point for my friends that also stayed behind, just with themselves to see, they're also single as well too, just to see how the sisterhood, is,
Yeah.
and, and how much love, like genuine love we have for each other as individuals.
Yeah.
Um, it's the world can the world isn't typically tough on us. It's like sometimes we make it tough. And in that situation, I
Yeah.
left my dog in a situation, and she paid me back by stepping in that damn lock button. And I closed the door and staring at me and smiling
Yeah.
at me, and I'm just like, "You're kidding me. This is not happening.
Yeah.
Everything is in there, and I have no clue what to do."
Yeah.
So I'm just I feel very blessed, and I guess that's why I just want people to understand that if you need the time, please give yourself the time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've missed out on anything by not jumping into another relationship.
Hmm.
Um, I know there's so many people that are really just they don't know many people who do what I'm doing either.
Yeah.
Because it's been months, yeah, so March, April, May, like it's
Yeah.
been a few months. And I think I'm more excited by telling my next partner about my journey to before I got to her.
Yeah.
Then I am excited about talking about the rest of my life before that, because
Yeah.
um, it was just that impactful. But I don't want to have a date next to me in order to hang out with you. I am going to say that. Yeah,
Whatever. That's not how it is. Don't put that out there. It's
no,
crap.
I, I mean, seriously, but seriously, there are some women, introvert, extrovert, no matter what, people do get in relationships, and being in the LGBTQ community, we all try to continue to support the bars and
Yeah.
everything as far as a community. And I know, like, even you doing this podcast, you also you and your partner also go out there and do events as well too on occasion. But I guess just for those who just like really isolate themselves, don't forget, if you're ever going to be single again, that to keep these things going, we all got to find ways to still continue to keep them going too.
Yeah. I think that people do get in relationships and they kind of, hold themselves up with their partner. especially in the beginning. And, you know, dating kind of in the tail end of the pandemic kind of gives you the luxury of doing that without really having to explain yourself so much to your friends. Like, no, we're not going out because, you know, there's a pandemic and people are dying and we're just not going to do that.
Right.
But you know, pandemic or not, I think you know, everybody's different. I think everybody, especially, you know, getting in a relationship with a new person, you know, you do kind of protect, you tend to protect that relationship by staying, you know, just the two of you, you know, at home, or, you know, going out to dinner by yourselves or whatever. Um, and then, you know, on occasion you make those appearances at the events and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, everybody's different, and everybody just, you know, does things their own way. And, you know, there's no right or wrong way to do it. And, you know, I think, you know, as long as you're happy, that's really all that, you know, that matters to anybody, I think. So
Yes, yes. And you said, can you elaborate a little bit more, like when you say protect the relationship? Because we got a variety of people, and we all. I mean, it. I think I know what you're saying. I was just kind of curious.
I think, you know, in the beginning of any relationship, but especially, I mean, you got to keep in mind, I haven't been in any other type of relationship besides a lesbian relationship in a very long time. So I know, you know, when I was in my early 20s, and, you know, we all make bad decisions when we're in our early 20s. I think, you know, especially like, you know, I went out a lot in my 20s. And, you know, my girlfriends and I would go out a lot, you know, to the gay bars, to Sue's, to wherever we were going in the neighborhood. And you could tell somebody, no, I'm seeing somebody, or, you know, I have a girlfriend or whatever. And there were women that did not care what you told them or what your girlfriend told them. They were just like, oh well, I'm better than they are. And, you know, that's how it was. And so there's all these like outside forces, and I feel like it's more predominant in the lesbian community. And I don't know why, but, you know, I've heard somebody say no doesn't mean no. And for fuck's
Ridiculous.
sake, yes, it does.
That's ridiculous.
Like, it means no, like, no, I'm not interested. Like, that's the end of it. So I think, like, especially at the beginning of a relationship, there's all these outside forces that, you know, try to tell you, oh, you shouldn't date them, or oh, that's never going to work out. And they have no idea about, you know, the dynamic of your relationship, how that's working, how good you two are together, like all those things. Just try to, you know, get in between people and break them up. And so, you know, by me saying, you know, kind of protect the relationship, that's what I mean. I mean, you know, I'm not going to go and, you know, parade my girlfriend around the gay bars, because I know how some lesbians are.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to have to deal with that. And neither does my girlfriend. Like, that's, you know,
Yeah.
that nobody needs to deal with that. No, I mean, no, no means no, people. No means no.
Yeah, and I don't personally know it's a lesbian thing either. Just a lesbian thing. It
I
might
mean, I
have.
don't know if it is or not, but
Yeah.
that's all I
Yeah.
can speak to. So,
Yeah. And I can definitely allude to the same thing as well too, where I've gone, at a bar with my partner, and I come back and somebody's hitting on her, and she's like, "Yeah, this girl was pretty aggressive with me," and it's just like, why? She's over
yeah.
here telling no, and then now you've got a situation that's just not
Yeah.
necessary.
I mean, it's one thing if somebody hits on you and they have, you know, they genuinely don't know that you were there with
Right.
somebody, you know, when they first approach you. But I feel like that's, I mean, if you're in a committed relationship, that's a pretty straightforward thing that you're going to say, like, oh, hey, thanks for coming over. Really
Yes.
flattered. I'm with somebody, you
Yep.
know, and that be the end of it. But then you get these women that are just like, oh, well, I'm going to
Yep.
continue to do what I'm doing because I have an ego and I don't care what you say. Like I
Yeah,
don't get that about people. You know,
yeah.
I don't get it.
It's a fair thing, and it is unfortunate that does happen, and it I understand. I totally
Yeah.
understand what you're saying, and I know with something brand new, y'all are learning each other around different situations as well too, and
Yeah, of course.
so
And I think that's with any relationship. I mean, I think everybody does that.
yeah. Well, I know all those. There's a lot of heartbreaks knowing that you're off the market, Allie.
Whatever. No, there's not. Nobody is heartbroken that I'm off the market, I
Yes,
assure
they
you.
are.
No.
Good looking woman like yourself, but anybody would be lucky to have you, Allie. And I'm very, very happy for you, and just excited to see you grow. From y'all grow together, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
And just people. I ran into somebody this past weekend telling me that they were just freshly broken up and still trying to let go of their ex, and they were still kind of talking to them but not
Oh,
talking to them, and
no, don't do
it
that.
was I know that's
Don't
what
do that.
what are
No,
you
no, no.
doing to yourself? Well, we're trying to be
Yeah.
friends. Well, you just broke up.
No, you can't. No, nobody can just turn it off like that. You cannot immediately be friends with
Yeah, and
an ex.
they were like, I'm on the market, but I'm off the market, and I was like, oh,
Because
you need
you're still hanging on to hope that
exactly,
that ex
exactly,
is gonna get their shit together or whatever the case may be. You're still holding on to hope. If you broke up, there is a reason why you broke up, and
yes,
you probably just don't need to talk to them at all. Maybe eventually you can be friends with
right,
your ex, because I do believe in that. I think some people can be
yep,
friends with certain exes, and it's okay, and there's nothing between them anymore. They truly are just friends.
right,
But right off the bat, no, absolutely not. Especially with women. Like,
yep.
I would never.
So
I
I
can't do
have
it.
a question for you, just because
Oh,
this.
here we go.
Uh, no, it's just a general question. There's no
Okay.
right or wrong answer for it.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
if you date somebody, like just date them,
Mm,
does that make them an ex girlfriend of yours? Just
no. If they
okay.
never held the title of girlfriend, no.
How do you
They're somebody I used to date.
how do you hold a title of girlfriend in the lesbian community, Allie?
I personally asked my girlfriend to be my girlfriend. I'm very old school and very traditional, as you
Yes.
say.
Yep.
Um, but I think that's important. Like, I want you to be my girlfriend. Will you be my girlfriend?
Right.
If that conversation never happens
Yep.
and you just call them your girlfriend one time in front of them
Yes.
and they don't really
Yes.
agree to that, I don't really feel like I don't think that's the same thing.
I a
Personal
thousand
opinion,
agree.
personal opinion. So,
No, I completely agree with you.
yeah, I
I
think you can go out on a few dates with somebody and you guys realize, you're better off friends. Like
Yep.
I last summer I went out with a woman. We went out three, maybe four times. Nothing happened. We, would go to dinner, we would hang out, nothing major. We realized we were better off friends and we're still friends. But she's not an ex-girlfriend. She's just someone I went out with a couple times.
Well, it shouldn't matter if anything major or not happened. It's just
Well, no, but
you never asked her to be your girlfriend. And
right.
I'm
It just never
completely
got to that. It never got to
yeah.
that place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz I was just told somebody's been going around saying that they were my ex-girlfriend. I was like,
What?
"Yes." And I'm like, "Oh no.
When
This
we get
person
off here, you're gonna have to tell me who.
yeah, I need to be told too cuz I'm like just cuz we dated, there's a huge difference because
Yeah.
I'm very traditional like you, where I make it a lot more formal to, you know, because
Oh, I
nobody
do
ever
some
told
corny
me.
shit. Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
do more cornier shit than me. But
yeah.
hey, it's you, and it's awesome. and it comes from deep in your heart. You know,
Yeah.
you're just a little different about how I would approach it, and the women that you and I end up with, always appreciate what we put into it. So,
And I
but
think that's important because I've been in relationships where, those things, weren't appreciated. And, that's a big part of who I am. Those corny things that I do, the cheesiness, the, very traditional things. And it's important for those things to be appreciated. For me, like that's important to me for them to be appreciated. And,
yeah,
a lot of people, tend to take that, cheesy stuff for granted, or they just don't appreciate it. And those aren't the people for me. Like that's never going to work out
yeah.
because I like the cheese.
Yeah, and I've tried your cheese before as far as like your approach and stuff.
Probably
I
not doing it right.
Yeah, well, no, I did it right. It actually, if you remember, I asked you and two of our really good friends for some advice because I was really, there was somebody
Oh
who,
yeah, you wanted the perfect date, and between the three of us, we planned the perfect date. Yeah,
yeah,
we
and I
we were pretty
knocked
proud of ourselves.
I knocked it out of the ballpark, and it's nothing I would have ever initially put together because I was kind of like, that's pretty cheesy, but it was so impactful,
Yeah,
like,
that shit works.
yeah, that shit works.
Everybody needs some cheese, okay? Get you some cheese.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. It it happened exactly how it needed to happen, and it opened my eyes that when I'm really wanting to connect with somebody, that I can get, it's okay to be a little cheesy. I can still be cool about myself
Yeah.
and what they think of me as a person, but I do like to be romantic as well too.
Mhm.
It was just another level of romance I hadn't done before, and I was just like, okay, let's try it.
Yeah,
And
you were real apprehensive about trying it our way,
yeah,
and
I did.
uh,
I
you
did.
did, and it worked out for you, but
Yeah,
worked out for
yeah,
her because
yeah, yeah.
whatever.
It-
But yeah, and I think it's funny that you bring that up because I remember we had conversations over the past weekend about a lot of people are really into like astrological signs and like if your signs are compatible and all that stuff. And to an extent I agree with those things.
mhm.
But to me, love languages are way more important.
Yep,
I need somebody
yep,
to understand mine, and because I'm going to try my hardest to understand theirs, and
yep,
make sure that their love languages are being met.
yep.
And I know a lot of people, we in that same conversation we did talk about love languages as well, but those things are important. And I think just a lot of people, I feel like they just don't really listen to their partners or to somebody that they're even, dating,
Yeah,
for their needs and their wants, and those types of things. And, those things are important. You can't just assume that, because you like each other, that's going to be enough, because it's
right.
not, it's not
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. Well, Allie, this has been a lot of fun. It turned out a little bit better than I expected. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is,
Yeah, you weren't real sure what we were going to talk about today, but I think it turned out good. I
yeah,
think it was
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I realize this is our last episode of this spring season,
Yep.
our series three, and we've got a fall season around the corner as well too.
We
So
do. Yeah, we're going to be mixing it up a little bit for the last half of the season, and we're just hoping everybody enjoys it and
yep,
enjoys getting a little more of Allie and Talie, and
yep,
kick out 2021 with a good bang, I guess. Sounds
exactly,
really that
exactly.
sounds really bad. That sounded really bad.
Well,
Now that I say that, it
let's
sounds
kick it
terrible.
out the ballpark. Let's
There
do.
we go. Well, baseball reference. That's always good.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, we've had a really good first half of the season, and I think every year we do this, I feel like we just get better and better. And topics get better, and our guests get better, and I think
Yeah.
we have a lot of things that we still want to talk about, and a lot of stuff that we're going to be throwing out there for the rest of the year. So really
Yep.
excited for that. So, but yeah, I'm excited also for a break, some time off.
Yes. Yes. Take a little vacation, which I know I'm going to,
Yep.
um,
Yep.
and, and get some more camping trips. But we'll have another camping trip in October to enjoy together. So,
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll
oh
see.
yeah, I remember you might have a conflict, but
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I'm going to have some good stories to share.
Well, good. Maybe you just go and then you have the good stories to
Oh,
talk
okay,
about.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, this has been a good time, and virtual's not so bad.
yeah, it's not so bad, and definitely thanks to Goosehead for being such a big sponsor for us this year, and
Definitely.
helping us get through the post pandemic time period as well too. Mike Kordowicz has definitely been outstanding of a sponsor overall, as
Absolutely.
he's the agency owner to Goosehead Insurance.
Yeah. We also have Brandy Harris with Apartment Amigo. If you're in the market for a new apartment, check out the links that are available on our social media pages. We
Yes,
also have Darwin and
Mika.
yeah, Tanike. Jesus, my
Mika.
mind is gone at the end of the day.
Yes,
With their Circle of Life book and audio. It's an audio experience with a book. It's pretty amazing. And then, as always, Sunrise Police for providing
yes,
our awesome intro music out of Austin, Texas. Look them up on your favorite music platform.
definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you, listeners, for continuing to listen to us and helping us hit some big numbers this year and the number of downloads, and hope you continue to follow us because, to Allie's point, we have some great things coming, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Keep it real.